Every morning, she kissed her husband goodbye with the same gentle smile. Every night, she returned home tired, but still smiling. He thought that smile meant happiness. He thought he knew his wife. Until the day he followed her to work. And realized that smile was hiding a pain so deep, it nearly destroyed everything they had built. Stay till the end, because what he discovers changes not just her life, but his forever. Lena had always been the kind of woman who smiled no matter what. She smiled while folding laundry late at night, smiled while cooking simple meals, smiled even when money was tight and worry sat heavy on her chest. To Mark, her husband of 7 years, that smile was proof that life, though modest, was good. They didn't have luxury. Mark worked long hours as a delivery driver, and Lena worked at a downtown office building as a cleaner. She left early every morning, always dressed neatly, hair tied back, lips curved into that familiar smile. "You're always so happy," Mark once said jokingly. Lena laughed softly. "Someone has to be." But lately, something felt different. Mark couldn't explain it, but he felt it in the quiet pauses between her words. In how she lingered in the shower a little longer. In how her smile seemed practiced. One morning, after Lena left, Mark noticed something strange. She had forgotten her phone on the kitchen table. That never happened. When he picked it up to call her, a bruise caught his eye, faint, yellowing, just visible near her wrist in a photo preview notification. His heart tightened. That day, instead of heading to work, Mark did something he never thought he would do. He followed her. From a distance, he watched her enter the tall glass building downtown. She didn't go to an office floor like he had imagined. She went down, into the basement. A service entrance. Mark waited. Minutes passed. Then voices echoed faintly from inside. Sharp voices. Laughing voices. And then he heard it. Someone yelling at her. "You missed a spot. Are you blind or just stupid?" Mark's blood ran cold. He crept closer, heart pounding, and through a partially open door, he saw his wife standing frozen, head bowed, while a woman in expensive heels pointed at the floor. Other workers stood nearby, some pretending not to see, others smirking. "Say sorry," the woman snapped. And Lena, his smiling, gentle Lena, whispered, "I'm sorry." Mark felt something inside him crack. He finally understood. That smile wasn't happiness. It was armor. That evening, Lena came home as usual. Same tired steps. Same gentle smile. But Mark couldn't pretend anymore. He waited until dinner was finished, until the dishes were done, until the silence became unbearable. "I followed you today," he said quietly. The smile vanished instantly. Lena froze. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then her shoulders began to shake. She sank into a chair, covering her face as years of pain finally spilled out. She told him everything. How her supervisor humiliated her daily. How she endured insults, threats, impossible workloads. How she stayed silent because they needed the job. Because she didn't want to be a burden. Because she was afraid of disappointing him. "I smile," she cried, "because if I don't, I won't survive." Mark knelt in front of her, tears in his eyes. "You were never weak," he said. "I was blind." The next morning, Mark went with her. Hand in hand. When the supervisor began her usual cruelty, Mark calmly interrupted. His voice didn't shake. "This is my wife," he said. "And this ends now." The supervisor laughed, until Mark pulled out his phone and played a recording. Not just of that day, but of weeks of abuse he had secretly documented after following Lena. By the end of the week, the supervisor was fired. But the real change didn't come from justice alone. It came from Lena. For the first time, she stood tall. Not smiling, not hiding, but real. And Mark stood beside her, not as a protector above her, but as a partner beside her. Months later, Lena started a new job, one that valued her dignity. She still smiled. But this time, it wasn't armor. It was freedom.